one of her aunties sent her a nice paragraph. Oh, have a blessed day at school. You know, wishing you all the best. You're going to be successful. Some positive words of affirmation. Like, it was literally a paragraph. When I say it was a paragraph, you want to know what Brielle's response was?
Don't tell me she just...
Hello, TTT. I'm TTTing today. She TTTing too, you know.
I've prepared.
Welcome back to Thriving Teen Tuesday. I am super excited. I am joined by the lovely Miss Ivy. She's bomb.com, in case you don't remember her.
Period. Ask about me.
Okay. She said ask about me. All right, so today we're going to be talking about social interaction. Okay. A lot of this came about just dealing with the youth. She's a youth leader, in case we didn't mention it before.
Youth leader for 5 years.
Yes, she's great with the kids, by the way. I sat in the first meeting yesterday. Yeah. And I walked away and I was like, wow, we need to do social interaction.
A lot of it.
A lot of it. A lot of times, you know, people just don't know what it is. They don't know. I feel like you said, COVID messes up a little bit with isolation and things. So hence the reason why we are talking about social interaction. When I say social interaction, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Social interactions, I think about how I communicate with people. Body language, I guess verbally speaking to people. Yeah. So socially, obviously social interaction, but how I communicate with people, body language and just verbal language. So yeah.
Same as well. Social interaction is pretty much what you said, but we don't realize how much goes into a conversation. And a lot of times we don't realize that we block the conversation from the get-go. Because just your one little gesture that you did, sometimes you didn't even know that you did it. And then it can make the other person completely shut down. Or on the plus side, it can encourage the person to continue. And there are a lot of factors that can affect your social interaction. So culture, a lot of cultures don't do eye contact or things like that. A lot of cultures, speaking to adults, especially in the Ghanaian community, with adults, you have to speak to them in like a certain way and things like that. Language barriers. So if English is not your first language and you're speaking to somebody in English, chances of your brain translating the information into your language as well, then relaying back, causes a little bit of a delay, which can make that person feel like the conversation is not flowing. And then just plain and simple, understanding. You just don't understand what's going on. You clueless. It's going to affect you.
It's okay to ask questions.
Ask questions. And don't be shy.
Don't be shy. It's okay. We're not perfect.
We're not perfect. So ask questions. Make sure you understand what the topic is, what you guys are talking about. And if you're really and truly not interested, don't be disrespectful.
Don't be rude.
Don't be disrespectful.
I mean, it's okay to be like, excuse me, can I excuse myself real quick? But don't be
sitting there rolling your eyes and
like, okay, I get it. Like,
and then take your phone and you're just
in the middle of them having a conversation. I'm like, this is so rude. Like, hey.
So let's talk about greetings. What would you say? Like, greetings is obviously the beginning of every conversation or whatever. You say hello. We said hi to you guys. Like the greeting. What is the power of greeting someone?
I feel like I'm thinking about like job interviews or even just meeting somebody of a higher power or higher level. It just says a lot about who you are. Right. So greeting somebody is very, very important. Yes. Make sure your handshake is firm. Make sure you're looking that person directly in the eyeball. Yes. Hey, I'm such and such. Hello, my name is A, B, and C. Yes. You know, so being confident and when you're introducing yourself. So I feel like greeting is very powerful, especially if you're confident and looking the person in the eyeball.
And then not just like you greeting them and then you said your piece, so okay, I'm done. But when they greet themselves, also I find I'm not very good with names. I find that repeating your name when you tell me your name helps me. And then I may repeat it one time out loud to you, just and then the rest I'll repeat it to myself because I may just not remember your name. And it's not anything. It's just my brain be going 20 miles a minute, so I just don't remember names. That's just a thing.
It be like that sometimes.
It just happens. So, you know, that's just something also to
actually fun fact about that. I went to his interview and this guy said he's bad with names too. Okay. But one thing he does to remember people's names is he correlates with something that he's familiar with. Okay. So when I said my name, obviously,
Ivy.
Poison Ivy. Somebody said, "Oh, my name is Jake." Jake from State Farm. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's just
okay,
like connected
fun.
with something that will make you remember that person's name.
Yes,
so,
but what if you accidentally say that out loud, you know, when you meet the person?
Doing way, dear. I don't know.
You can imagine you meet the person and, you know, the first thing that comes to your mind
is... Hey, Jake from State Farm. Like, dang.
They were looking at you. I'm pretty sure they probably heard it before.
Right.
So, you know, apologize and move on.
Sorry.
And then also when you're talking, interacting with somebody, be mindful of how your presentation or whatever you're saying affects them. So take social cues. So if you're talking to someone and all of a sudden their face changes and you weren't saying anything negative, you know that something's happened. Right. Either they didn't understand what you were saying or they took offense to something.
Yep.
So you need to, so you need to go back and you need to be like, okay, I noticed when I was spoken, I was spoken. I noticed when I was speaking, you know, you made a face or whatever. What I meant was, and then you can clarify, and then give that person the opportunity to be able to let you know also, this is what I heard.
Exactly.
Or, you know, what you said, I don't really like it or whatever. So.
One thing I also learned too when it comes to communication, there's two types, or is it three? There's the communicator and there's also the receiver. Yes. Right? So you may be saying something, but that person may be hearing something completely different. Yeah. So it's like, we do need to ask questions to really clarify, hey, what were you trying to say in this moment? And you too, as a communicator, reiterate what you're trying to say. So, but for the youth, I know it takes time, but sometimes like, just gotta explain stuff. They be saying stuff so harshly. I ain't gonna hold you like, I'm like, my niece, Auntie Ivy, you just don't be getting it. What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Can you explain? Because you hurt my feelings. Like, so I feel like these youth nowadays, they should be saying.
We did mention think about others while you're speaking. So please. I'm like, yeah,
what's my time?
Yo, sometimes my kids will say something to me and I'm like,
what are you trying?
Right.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know if I understood what you were saying. But...
And they be having a lot of slang nowadays.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. So if you're speaking to someone, especially if the person is not in your age bracket. Not saying that you need to dumb down anything or anything like that, but just be mindful of the amount of slang that you're using. So then that way it's not like you're speaking gibberish to the person. So just be mindful. You know,
be very mindful.
Be very mindful. Okay, let's go over some appropriate and inappropriate responses because I feel like a lot of times teenagers, and not even just teenagers, but people in general. We're talking about teenagers, so I'm targeting you. But teenagers don't know how to respond to certain things.
Give me an example.
So, like, for instance, Brielle's first day of school. One of her aunties sent her a nice paragraph. Oh, have a blessed day at school. You know, wishing you all the best. You're going to be successful. Some positive words of affirmation. Like, it was literally a paragraph. When I say it was a paragraph, you want to know what Brielle's response was?
Don't tell me she just hearted.
She said, okay. Literally. She said, okay. And you know what? The auntie called me. I sent Brielle this, and she sent me a screenshot of the text message. She's like, I sent the Brielle all these lovely words, and all she said to me was, okay. And I feel some type of way. And I was literally like, wow, I would feel some type of way too, because what you translated to that person is, you wasting my time. I don't really care about what you're saying.
Yeah, it's definitely gay.
I'm not interested. Yeah. And that's not what she meant.
Yeah.
When I spoke to her after when she got back to school, that's not what she meant. Her simple thing was, she just didn't know what to say. So she just said, okay. And I'm like, wow.
But that says a lot too then.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that makes me think, because I was talking to my niece, I'm like, girl, give me a hug. And then she's like, that's I feel like nowadays, the new age youth, they don't know do they have emotional support?
Emotional support.
Like, is there emotions? I feel like it socially, it pivots into emotionally as well. You know, but I feel like, why didn't you know what to say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I feel like for me, maybe because we're older or whatever, but for me, I feel like it's,
I would have said,
it was obvious.
Yeah. Like,
you could
I'm
say
thinking about myself in middle
appropriate
school.
response would be, oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great day too. So she did
yeah.
say have a great day. So you can say have a great day. You can say thank you for your kind words. You can say I'm looking forward to the day.
Right.
Or, you know,
say something intriguing, not just
okay, a thumbs up, a heart.
Something.
Those are not appropriate responses.
So show some type of emotion.
Yes.
I think that's what was missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if somebody's saying something nice to you, even if you don't have a long paragraph, because she did not have to respond in a long paragraph, but even if you don't have anything, a simple thank you.
I know. Oh, sorry.
She's speaking different languages.
Sorry, y'all.
No, but a simple thank you would have been more than appropriate.
Exactly.
Like somebody recently also introducing the kiss to someone.
Yeah, that's
and they're like, the person is saying hi, they're like, what is that?
You're going,
oh my God. Can you open your mouth and speak clearly? And my nephew was like, I'm like, nobody understands what you're saying.
I surely didn't.
Seriously. So open your mouth, the nodding your head and shrugging your shoulders are not appropriate responses when you're talking to someone. I know a lot of times when you're talking to your friends, it's cool or whatever, so you're kind of like just, no big deal. But it is a big deal because the other person feels like you're not even putting effort into the conversation. So then if maybe they had 3 questions or 3 things they wanted to tell you, they stopped after number 1 if you're impatient like me. If they're not impatient like me, then they might get to number 2, but I guarantee you they won't get to number 3.
They were like, do you want to talk to me?
Right.
And like, also another one,
the phone. And then you're looking up, and then you look down, and then you look up. Don't do that. It's very important that we are responding appropriately to things. It's very, very, very important. Can you think of any other inappropriate responses that people give during a conversation?
I feel like this. I feel like the body language one. I feel like you don't have to be uppity and be like this, but just being attentive to the person. Granted, you may not like eye contact, but just looking away here, there. I learned you can look at the person's here.
Really?
In the middle. Like you don't want to make
eye contact. And it looks the same.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
If you feel uncomfortable, just look at like their inner or something, or focus on something else.
In their face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
a lot of times I look at people's lips, especially if they're speaking the Ghanaian language that I'm not too familiar with. I look at their lips to try and figure out like what they're saying.
The pronunciation of it. Okay. That works too.
But
Yeah, but honestly, I understand eye contact is uncomfortable for some people, but just try to be attentive. Show some type of attentiveness in a way.
Yes.
So.
And don't let somebody be talking to you and you're like this.
Crossed. This means you're closed off.
Don't do this.
Yeah, that means you're not trying to do
somebody
nothing.
talking to you and you got your hands on your hips. Don't do that.
It's giving attitude.
It's giving
disrespect.
attitude. Like maybe that's not what you meant. Maybe if you felt like your hands were comfortable in this position, don't do it.
If you catch yourself doing that, just like close your hands.
Yes.
Or put your hands behind, or something like just something of a softer body gesture.
Yeah.
Like something.
And not
soft.
only that too, fiddling with stuff. When somebody's talking to you and you're like, it's very distracting because if I'm talking to you and I'm doing eye contact with you and you're going like this, guess where my eyes are going? My eyes are going to your hands. So therefore, my eye contact is not happening. I
have a response to that. Some people may have ADHD. They may need fiddle. So
this is
I feel like that would be a tough one, but I get that one too.
This is true. If you do, you do. But my point is, if you can refrain from certain things that will block communication, please go ahead and do so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Overcoming shyness. So it's very important because shyness affects social interaction. Where, somebody approaches you and you don't even know how to act. Or you're so in your shell, you don't know how to come out of it. You don't know how to interact with them. So then it makes it a whole lot more difficult. They're talking to you and all of a sudden you're sweating, your hands are all clammy. And usually you get nervous, and you think something, and you open your mouth, and
it doesn't go well.
Nothing comes out.
Yeah,
it's like nothing comes out. It does happen, and a lot of things that you can do to combat that is to practice in the mirror.
I was just about to say that. Yep,
practice in the mirror. Practice with a friend. Practice with your parent, with a sibling, whomever. Practice by yourself.
Yeah,
just practice the hello. How are you doing? Because sometimes you'll say something, and then you're like, oh, my voice was kind of sharp right there. And so, you can just play with different ways that you want to greet somebody or things like that. And I think that will also help. Do you have anything on overcoming shyness?
It's hard for me because I'm not a shy person. So,
We couldn't tell.
What? That's sarcasm.
Yes.
Oh man, the shade. But I do actually want to go back into the part how we talked about like social distractions.
Yes.
I do feel like social media.
Yes.
Plays a big part.
A huge part.
Yeah.
Because now we live in social media.
Everything's social media. I mean, I understand it produces revenue in some type of way, but I feel like it has really created a barrier when it comes to really interacting in person.
Yes.
Like, somebody can go on Instagram and be like, that's my friend, but when you see them in person,
you don't say nothing.
You don't say nothing. Is that really your friend?
Yo, can I say I'm guilty of that, right?
Really?
So, I did that one time, and I caught myself, and I was like, what? And I ended up unfollowing the person. So, I mean, I had to because it didn't make sense. Uh-huh. I literally saw this person. It was somebody, I don't know, I think I knew them from school or something. And, you know, you see their messages, their pictures and stuff, and you're like, oh. And I was watching everything, and then I saw them outside of Marshall's. And I literally, you know when it takes you a minute to recognize the person?
Like, oh, snap, that's
because you haven't seen them in a while, right? So, but I recognized the person. Like, I knew her first name, her last name, right away. There was no pause. I knew it. And I literally looked at the person. We made eye contact. Like, I see you, you see me. And then I looked away. Oh. And you know when you can feel like somebody's watching you? Like, I feel like she paused.
She's like, I think I know this person. Yeah, it was giving that.
She paused for a minute because I don't think she 100% knew who I was right away. But I knew who she was. And I walked away. And the second I took that step, I was like, man, I messed up. But at that point, I wasn't going to turn around and be like, I just kept going.
I remember you. That part's just like,
that's just,
yeah,
you messed up at this point.
Yeah.
Not saying that you shouldn't own up, but I'm being transparent and telling you, you know, I'm confessing.
Not everybody on social media is really your friend.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just you may find some things that they do common interest, like you may be interested in what they do, but it doesn't mean that they're your friend, you know? So I feel like we shouldn't mix social media with social interactions.
Yes.
So I feel like that's that barrier.
Yes.
Social media is just, you're behind a screen. You can be fake. You can
do and say a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And it's actually ironic that before Sister Mabel told me about the topic, I came across a news report. And it was a news reporter who was talking to 4 teenagers. And she asked the teenagers at the end of the interview, what do you prefer? Do you prefer in-person confrontations or conversations or even arguments, or behind the screen? 3 out of the 4 kids said behind the screen.
What would you have said?
Because it's not, I'm less anxious, I'm not nervous, and I'm comfortable to say and do anything I want to do.
Yeah.
Hey!
And you know, that's why cyberbullying is going up so much, because people are so quick to the thumbs moving and
Twitter
saying
fingers.
all these negative things,
trolling.
but they literally saw you in person.
In person, you didn't say
and
nothing.
they wouldn't say anything to you because they're
Like,
afraid to talk to you in person. But behind the screen, they can be anonymous and be a punk fool. Don't be doing that to people. Don't be trolling people. You don't want to be trolled. Don't do that to other people. Okay?
And this is why social interactions is important. Is very important, because if you are upset with somebody and you want to let that person know, hey, come up to them, say something to their face to face, and hey, I feel like A, B, and C. Yes. Because when you go on social media and you do it, I don't know, maybe for me, I feel like, do you sincerely, I don't know, I feel like it's not giving sincere, it's not giving genuine, unless you come to me in person. I may feel like, all right, I can feel your emotions. Right. Yeah.
And then also social interaction with your parents. I know a lot of times the parents' part is difficult.
It's hard.
And we don't want to talk to our parents, and we see them, we just want to run a mile a minute, okay? But it's very important that you are also interacting appropriately with your parent. You get home and your parent is telling you, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead, finish.
Your parent is asking you, how was your day? Fine. What did you do at school today? I don't know. All those are roadblocks. All you keep telling that parent is, I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm not interested in what you're saying. And then that parent, depending on the type of parent that you have, they may leave it alone and go do something else. Or they may feel really hurt about that. They may feel like, you're really and truly not trying to pay attention to them. Or maybe they were trying to ask you different things, but because you shut them down, they stop.
Yeah.
And then you will then turn around and think, oh, my parents don't care about me.
Yeah.
But they have shown you time and time again that they're trying to get to know you on a deeper level, figure out what's going on with you. So no, when somebody asks you, how was your day? You're not supposed to start from 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 p.m. and give them how many steps you took and how many bathroom breaks you took. But you can give them, 1 to 2 highlights of your day. And maybe if you don't have something positive, you can just say, oh, you know what? Today there wasn't really much happening. I went to class and, just hung out with my friends, and that was pretty much it.
Right.
That's a whole lot more than...
It was good.
It was good.
But in my defense, I actually saw this video and it said, it was actually geared towards parents. When you're talking to your children, ask them specific questions rather than saying the general stuff like, hey, how was your day? Like how we had the youth meeting. I said, was there anything exciting that happened this week? Say key words for them to dive into anything that you want them to dive into. So I feel like it goes both ways, parents and also the child.
I know for Brielle, I make a point to ask her, I'll pick a class every day, and I'll ask her specifically, today, how was math class? Or I ask her, how was personal development? Like, I'll specifically, and then tomorrow, I won't ask about math. I'll ask about something else.
That day.
And then if you think about something else, you can bring it up. Or maybe I'll even ask you, how was lunch? What did you eat for lunch? Who did you sit with? And all those things. But I can ask you all the questions, but if you don't answer, because
I feel like
conversation.
Exactly, and I feel like because even when the parents asking more in detailed questions is giving, I actually care to hear about your day.
Yes.
So it builds that connection.
And don't let it be a one-way street.
Yeah.
Don't let me ask you how was your day, and then
ask
you
me.
say, right, how was your day, mom, dad, grandma, whomever you're with?
Because your parents be emotional too.
Seriously. You know how many things are going on? A lot of things going on. So ask them, how was your day? How are you feeling today? Is there anything that I can do to help you or any support that you need? Because as much as our parents are a supporter, they need support too. Yeah,
for sure.
Sometimes they just need a hug because we've had a very stressful day and I'm just like overwhelmed. And a hug from a loved one, it changes your vibe. And
that right there, that is body social language, right?
Yes.
Just giving you a hug. I'm not saying no words already. It's just like
do it again.
That bodily language says a lot. Like, hey, you probably don't want to talk right now, but I can see that you need something. I need some type of compassion. Give me a hug. So, yeah, that says a lot.
So in closing, we're going to go over some benefits of a positive social interaction. Number 1, you're going to be able to interact better.
Yep, you make friends easily.
Exactly. And that's important because I know nobody wants to be alone, right? So it's good to make friends. Being a good communicator, and then the long-term effect is you are practicing right now for your job interviews. You are practicing right now for when you're on the job. You're practicing right now for your relationship with your future partner. You're practicing for your relationship with your future kids and your neighbors, like so many other things. So please take that time to delve into this and recognize that are just not working.
Right. What you do now determines your future, right? Yes. So if you are able to go out your shell and do stuff that you're uncomfortable with, eventually you're going to become comfortable with it, right? So you don't like public speaking, do it more. Volunteer in. Hey, answering a question in class, your self-esteem is going to go up. You're going to be more confident, and that's going to attract a whole different type of atmosphere and people around you as well.
So our wish is for you guys to thrive in social interaction and do great. And we will see you next week Tuesday for some more content.
Bye.